I'm Sean and welcome to the channel and welcome to the July 2025 layout update on my TZ120 layout. In this video we're going to start off where we left off on the June update, which was on this board with the diverging route and the main lines with the goods shed. So we're just going to start going round to this side, which is the next boards I've been working on. I've got the tracking for the run round loop, and I've also got the two main lines going up the incline. The bridge, I still need to do some more work on that, and there's a point underneath the bridge that I think I might have to replace, because one of the one of the change blades where the rails change over, one of them came off of the moving tie bar. I tried super gluing it down, but it just hasn't been right since, so I think I'll probably be more better off just replacing the whole point. So we're going to go from there into the main bit of this baseboard. Now this small town, not the layout but the small town, what you're seeing now, I've now gave a name for the small town. I'm now gonna name this town Folly Hill. Now the reason why I've named this town Folly Hill is because this building at the top, that was originally from a Metcalf kit, the castle kit from Metcalf, and I thought it'd be ideal just on its own as like a folly, as like a point of interest on this part of the layout. And for anyone who don't really know what a folly is, a folly was almost like an early days holiday home. So effectively holiday homes originated from a folly. Basically, back in the day, the more richer families, the richer people, they bought their partners a folly, and the folly was built on the highest point to have the best views they could possibly get of the area. And basically they'll build this folly which looks a bit like a castle, and they'll literally go on holiday to this folly, and basically have a holiday in the folly. So I thought, don't see many of them on layouts, so I thought, nice space there, ideal fill up a space. So I thought, it'd be a good idea just to have a folly in the corner. So if we just go a little bit closer around here now, closer look at the folly. And now you may notice that I've got two trees here. Now I've put two trees here by design, because if I just pull the folly out, I've already started attaching lights to it. Right, so this folly kit, when I put the lights in, these holes, they're not pre-made in the kit. You have to make these holes for the lighting. So basically, let's go 3 levels of lighting. So in each section, it's got to be like three bulbs in each section. So I've got like 3 bulbs going into this middle bit here, and in this window here I've actually painted a figure white, and basically when the light goes on it looks like there's a ghost peering through. So I'll see if I can show you what I mean. What I've done now, I've just attached a power supply to the lights in the castle, so I could just show you what I mean about the figure in the window, being this window. So if I just zoom in, you could just see him there peering through the window. You just see the outline there. So you just see as a little figure just standing in the window. Now he's the resident ghost of the folly. So the folly is a little bit haunted, and he's the resident ghost, just peering out over Folly Hill. Just thought it'd be a very nice effect. Right, so now we're just gonna have a look at the rest of the layout. Now, before I put the folly back in place, I just want to explain why I've got the 2 trees either side of it. The reason being is because on both sides you've got this door on both sides. Now the reason being is because this kit is a part of a load of other kits from Metcalfe that are basically like the walling of the castle, going on to like the different parts of the castle. Now these doors would have been basically, if you got the other sections that are the walls of the castle, they would connect there where these doors are, which is why these doors are in place. But obviously being a folly and where it is, we're not going to be using these doors, and it'll look a bit silly having a staircase going down like that on either side. Especially on that side, you've got a window and door there. So I thought the best thing to do to hide these 2 doors is just have a tree either side of it. So that's my thought processes with the trees either side. Plus it does cover up a bit more of the area either side. So I'm just going to put the folly back in now. I've made a little bit of a hole in the back there, so the wires go straight down underneath the baseboard. That just tucks in like that. Now these trees that I've got in, these are the woodland scenic armatures that come off just like that. Thinking about when I put the folly back in, I should have just took the trees out, but never mind. But anyway, these armatures, they don't come folded out like this. They actually come. That's the ghost from the folly. They actually come flat. So basically what you do is you twist out the branches until you've got the right shaped tree you want. I mean, I've actually spray painted these with brown spray paint, just to give it a bit more of a tree like colour. But the original colour ain't too bad, but I just like to put brown colour paint over the top with a spray can. And then basically what you do is you just cover the tree with foliage, PVA with foliage. Away you go. So just pop that back in. The other good thing, you know, with your trees being able to come out, just got a little stump that they basically go in. If you know, when you take it out and you put it in storage or something like that, you can have the trees off the layout so they don't get broken. You could put them in like a safe place. So this is one of the armatures I've been working on. It still needs a bit more work, especially on this side. But this is getting the method I use for making trees on the other board. I do like that method, but it does take a while. You know, it has to be said. So I just saw these tree armatures at the Bluebell Railway Model Railway weekend. I just thought I'd give them a try. You know, not a bad product if you just want, trees quickly, sort of thing. You know, not a bad product. You know, they do the job. Right, so going back to the layout, if I zoom in slightly. Now over here, because the main line going up the incline, it's running behind there, just behind them buildings. Just move them out of the way. See all the rocky bit that the folly is sitting on. Now I done the rocky bit a bit differently to the way I normally do them. I normally do them with like the Woodland Scenics rock castings and bits of plaster cloth and stuff like that. But this time I've done it slightly different. I've basically done the basic structure and then I covered it all with multi-purpose filler, and basically I just chiseled out like different shapes out of the rock, to make it a bit random, like chisel different shapes out of the filler when dry, make some random rock facing and textures and patterns. Just painted it the way I normally do with the base coat of grey, and then just watered down acrylics, and then just a dark wash over the top. That's very nice. Right, so just zoom back out. I'll put these back in. I'm not sure this one's going to play ball. Ball trap. There you go. Right, so got a crossing here, a road crossing here, and the plan is this road is going to go round like that, sloping down, and where these shops are is like a high street. So this would be Folly Hill High Street. Now these buildings were from my previous Engage layout, and they're half relief buildings, which basically means you got the front, but there's nothing on the back. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to go into too much great detail with the back bits because they're going to be facing the track anyway, and you ain't really gonna see these bits. But I'm going to do a back to these buildings so I can then have them there. But before I do all that, all this bit, I've got to cover it with filler and level it all out so the buildings will actually sit there rather than fall about all over the place like this one. But I still think that was something to do with the ghost in the folly up there. But, yeah, so like I said, this road goes down here, and then the road is kind of very sort of like open here, so there'll be like parking spaces here, and there'll be like a little bit of a bit going into the station. Now the station level will be the same level as the road level, so it'll just go down to road level. And then I don't know if you can see, if I move the bridge out of the way, there's another crossing there where the road will go off that way, and it'll also possibly go under here as well, to then go under that bridge and around there. Although I could maybe do like another business under there possibly, but we'll see. But going back to this bit, the crossing links up with the road, and the station is here. Now, I haven't got a station building at the moment, but I thought I might have a go at scratch building. So, scratch building a station building. Don't know if you could get it on camera, but I tried engraving with a Stanley blade some wood flooring pattern in the floor. I don't know if you can make it out, but tried scribing a wood floor pattern in the middle there. So I just scratch building this for now till we get a station building. So if I move them bits off, I'll show you the platform. Right, so this is the platform for Folly Hill Station. I made this platform using 2 layers of foam board. So basically 2 layers of foam board that's that thick. And for the sides, I use my favourite styrene brickwork. That's from Fowler. I just used the sides, and this is the same brickwork that I've been using on the yard baseboard with the tunnel and the rockwork, but on the brickwork on the abutments. It's the same styrene sheet I used for the platform edging. Now the top of the platform itself, I tried something different because I wanted to have a bit of a rough texture. Not rough enough as in looks out of scale and stuff like that, but just enough to make it look a bit worn. So what I've done was I put down a layer of sand all over the platform, all over the top of the platform, and now I waited for that to dry, and then once it was dry I painted it with the light grey acrylic like I'd normally do with the brickwork, and then I just gave it a dark wash over the top, and that's what gives you this effect. I think it could, to be honest, do with being a bit lighter, so I might just redo the colour on that bit at some point, but I'm just seeing how it goes. So I think it could do being a bit lighter. I think it's a bit too dark at the moment. So yeah, we'll see. And that's where my scratch built station building's going until I'll get another sort of proper one. And I think with scratch build, I mean, even if in the future you don't use that building, I think it's always good to have a little bit of a practice, a little bit of a try at scratch building stuff. Because the more you do, the more you try, the better you get at it. You learn different things, sort of thing. So it's whether you're going to use it or not, whether it's temporary or not, it's always good to just give some scratch building a go. That's my best advice. Just give something a go. Right, so we're now just gonna move on to the yard bit now. Right, so this is the yard bit for the steam shed for Folly Hill Station. Basically, this is going to be an end of a branch line sort of station within the incline, and it's got it has its own shed as well for trains to swap from. When a train does a journey, they could swap locos. The loco could stay in the shed while the loco goes round. But also when a goods train comes into the goods yard on the other board, the shunter could come out and the train that was on the freight train could go into the shed, for a little bit of maintenance before it then goes back on its journey. Now the bit I want to look at with this bit, as you see, I've gone a bit nuts with the static grass again, but the bit I want to show you is this bit. Now, tried making a bit of ash ballast. Now, I did watch another YouTuber do this technique, and basically what I've done here is, instead of ballast, I use sand and put sand all in the track. Basically, I've done the same as what I do with ballast, but I've done it with sand. And basically what that does, as you see, especially on this bit in between, it almost looks like compact ash on the track. So basically, there's been, where like trains have been there for a while, they've, emptied the ash pans and stuff like that. It always gets very grubby around sort of like the steam shed areas, and you get a thing called compact ash, which is what all this is, or what I'm trying to build here. And basically the sand, it makes a good effect because it's not as thick as the ballast. So you can just about see the sleepers along with the ash ballast. So eventually, over in this area here, when I've got this wall sorted out, because I've got some styrene wall coming. At least I hope it's the styrene one. But if it ain't, it'll be no problem. I'll still use it. But once that's in, got to do some coal stafes there, and just have like mounds of coal there so they get loaded up. That's the plan. and then you've got a bit that's in the engine shed. In hindsight, I probably should have made these into pits, but for now I just done my normal job with, you know, going over with filler and sanding and painting it all down. So all this is all multi-purpose filler. Now while the filler was drying, I just got my engine shed. I just placed it in the filler, so there's a nice groove for the engine shed to sit in. So this is all just filler, and it's all been sanded off. Right, so that's the engine shed. So we'll just look at some of the track on the incline. Right, so this is nearing the top of the incline track. Haven't done these tracks yet, so I've got to get some more track. And this bridge will go in there. And if you notice, I've got the DCC power base running across the bridge as well, and the DCC power base will also run across the bridge over there as well, because remember, like I said in a previous video, even though at this point the loco has cleared the incline, the carriages are still on the incline, so the loco still needs the power base for the length of the train it's got, for the length of the train that the loco is pulling, because the train will still be holding the loco back on the incline, so it still needs the traction up to where the HST carriage is. So just got to get some more DCC power plates to go on there. Right, so just go around. This backboard, I didn't do it with MDF. I've just done it with some cardboard. I mean, it's a little bit flimsy, but this layout isn't going to move about a lot, so I think it's just ideal for now. So the card goes all the way along. Now, the paint I use for this is a tester pot from Wix, and would you believe it, is actually, the tester pot was actually called Sky Blue, sort of thing. So I thought, well, you can't really go wrong with something that says Sky Blue, so I just bought that and then just painted the back scene over. I think I used the same paint on the riverboard that I've done for the sky. I think I used the same paint. But the track goes up behind the engine shed. Got a bit more rocky there, you know, rocky bits there. I might have another crack at that, because it's not particularly what I want at the moment, so I might give that another go. I've still got a lot of foliage to pull up there just to cover the joining line. You could just see the crossing in the background, so I'll remove that tree. Just see the crossing there, and I'll do some shrubs just going over there, just to cover the gap up. So I've removed these buildings out the way again. And the track goes round in front of the folly. All up here will just be bushes and shrubs. It just goes round the back, over another crossing which is here. under the bridge to where the A4 is there. So that's what I've been up to so far on the layout. Now, as you can see, the other parts of the layouts have been separated. The reason being is that the flat we're in is going to be going under a restoration, so the layout has to be separated. So I've got bits of layout in the hallway, bits of layout in the living room. So this will probably be the last update video for a couple of months. But when I get back to building, it's going to be a lot of changes. But I'll let you know about them closer to the time. But for now, this is the July 2025 layout build. The update video. So if you like the video, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. It'll sure help the channel. I've got a lot of subscribers lately. I'm up to 50 subscribers, so I'd like to thank everyone who has subscribed and supported the channel. So until next time, you all take care. Thank you for watching, and bye bye.